Hi, my name is Erin Dawkins, and I am from Clawson, Michigan. I'm an ambassador for the Detroit Free Press TCF Bank Marathon this year. So I started running about a year after my son was born in 2015. I was a little unhappy, stressed, not really sure how to function. So my husband told me to try going for a run. So I did. My first run was actually on a treadmill for 1 mile, and I think it took me a little over 14 minutes. But when I was done, I was so excited and kept running on a treadmill indoors. And then finally ran outside for the first time a few months later and never turned back. It was one of the greatest things I ever did. I was so proud of myself for doing it, and I really never turned back. People talk about why they run, and for me, it's definitely something that helps me with my everyday. It helps me with stress. It helps me with my mental health. But mostly it helps me to be a better mom and a better wife, and to show my kids how important it is to live a healthy lifestyle and to incorporate exercise in your life and how it has physical and mental benefits. I think sometimes when people are in a tough place and they don't really know where to turn, it's always a good thing to consider running, because it's done so much for me in my life. And actually, my kids are runners, my husband's a runner, so we run a lot as a family, we race a lot as a family, and it's a great way to bond and to be together. My proudest running achievement, no surprise here, is when I completed the marathon in 2018. It was my first full marathon. I was struggling at the end, and I got this final push from a spectator who noticed that I was wearing a green bib, and she started to run alongside me and told me to dig deep, and I can push through, I can do it. And I still tear up when I think about it, because if it wasn't for her, I don't know if I would have had the strength at the end. So when she gave me that push and I finished, and my family and friends were at the finish line waiting for me, and my husband, who had completed the marathon a little earlier, was there, it was just an overwhelming feeling. And to have my kids see me finish as well was just so great. They were so proud, and it will be forever one of my proudest running moments. Doing the half marathon this year, the international half, and I'm doing a advanced plan for my training. So last year I did the Hansen's marathon method for the full, and I'm also using their advanced plan this year for the half. My goal is to finish in sub 2, so I would like to finish before 2 hours. So I'm pushing myself a little bit, but I'm very excited for this goal that I'll be meeting. I registered in 2016 for the U.S. half because I was going back and forth on whether or not I should do it. I've always wanted to run in a free press race event, but I waited and waited and waited, and by the time I was ready to finally pull the trigger, the international race was closed. But I was grateful because I was able to do the U.S. half. My favorite memory from the U.S. half in 2016 was running through Indian Village. There, year after year they have the wall there that you run through, and there's a lot of energy there. People are excited. It's just so great to run through and see all of these people that aren't running, but they're there to cheer you on. So that was definitely, great. When I ran the full last year, there's nothing better than seeing the sun come up as you're running over the Ambassador Bridge. It's beautiful, it's breathtaking, it's awesome, and you're kind of running uphill at that point, but you don't notice because the scenery around you is just incredible. A lot of people are worried about running through the tunnel. That's one of the things I hear a lot when I talk to people about the race. It's not as bad as people say it is. They say it's stuffy, it smells, it's hot. For me, it went really fast, so I hope it doesn't deter people from signing up for the race. It's not as bad as I've heard people make it out to be. Some tips that are important when you're preparing for a race, in my experience, is to find a training plan that you think can work for you. I'm a mom, I work full-time, I run a business with my husband, so for me it's gonna be a plan that can work with my crazy schedule. I found that the Hanson's plan was a good plan to work with. The weekday training is a little bit shorter. There's some interval training, and then you really focus on the longer runs on the weekend, so that works for me. The other thing to remember is once you do find a plan, trust your training. So when you go into the race, just know you've done everything you can to prepare for this, and you're here, and you just have to trust that all the hard work and everything you've done leading up to it is going to get you through. That's what happened for me. So that's why I'm using that plan again this year, because I was able to go into it knowing that I did everything I could, and it got me through. Another thing to remember if you are training in the summer is just hydrate well. I wear a Nathan backpack when I run. It carries a couple liters of water, and it really helps me get through for these hot summer runs. Running in the summer is a challenge for me. I'm more of a fall, winter runner outdoors, but you have to work with the Michigan weather. And in the summer, unfortunately, it could get very hot. So just make sure that you're hydrating. For me, I usually do early morning runs to kind of beat the heat in the summer. Another thing to remember is when you're training closer to the race, make sure to get clothes that you're going to be running in during the training. So pick something, shorts and a shirt, that you know will work on race day. You don't want to wear anything new that doesn't work with you. Most important for me, I learned this over my years of running, are shoes. Shoes are so critical. I started when I first started running with one pair. Now I have two pairs that I rotate. So shoes and socks are so important, because these are the things that actually get you through the race. I recommend going down to Run Detroit. The staff there is fantastic. That's where I go. They take a look at me running. They take a look at my feet. They tell me what will work for me. They recommended great brands, so I'm very happy with them, and that's one thing that I think is so important, is what you wear in your feet. So just keep that in mind as a critical part of your training.